One.
Well, welcome to week 2 of the course. What we'll be concentrating on this week is, first of all, identifying arguments. Not everything that we read is argumentative. Not every use of language is such that we can say that we're reasoning, and that really is the key. We're going to look at different texts, writings, discourses, and see that some of them are argumentative in nature and some of them are not. And the key to telling the difference between the two types of texts or discourses or writings is the presence or absence of reasoning. Whenever we have reasoning, we can be said to have an argument, and there is no such thing as an argument without reasoning. So that is what we're looking for. And remember, reasoning is making inferences. Reasoning is offering support for one statement by way of another statement. Or reasoning is claiming that you know one thing, or that one thing is true on the basis of something else that is true. That's logic. Logic is making inferences. Logic is seeing the implications of statements and drawing them out, you might say. So that's the key. I mean, I want you to keep that in mind. That is, in a certain sense, it's very, very simple what we're doing. Every argument has reasoning, and every argument has premises and a conclusion. And one of the skills, probably the major skill that we're trying to develop here, is the ability to look at a piece of writing and to be able to formulate just what the argument is in the piece of writing, and that's a very powerful thing to be able to do, because once you're able to look at a piece of writing and to really get very specific about just what the premises are and just what the conclusion is, then you're in a position to think about it in a much more clarified way and begin to evaluate it in a much more rigorous way. So first of all, I mean, every argument makes a claim. Let's start talking about words again. A claim about the world, a claim that something is true, a claim that something should be done, a claim that something is good or bad, a claim that something, in some sense, is the case. We make claims by way of statements or propositions. Now, if we were in a philosophy of language class or even a formal logic class, we might be interested in making distinctions between statements and propositions, but I think that for the purposes of ordinary life and critical thinking in ordinary life, there's really not much reason to do that. However, think about what all these things have in common. I make a claim, I make a statement, I offer a proposition. What is key to all of them is that I am saying that something is the case or something is true. Whenever I make a claim, whenever I make a statement, whenever I offer a proposition, I am in some way or another saying that the world, in some small part of it perhaps, or even large part of it, is a certain way. That may be abstract and general, but all I really mean by that is things like this. There's a claim. There is a statement. There is a proposition that Jane is in the kitchen. I have characterized the world in a very small way, in speech, in language, or in thought. I have represented the world, or I've said that it's a certain way. Uh, Again, I shudder every time I think about it, but, you know, all right. Jane is in the kitchen. The earth is round. Trump will be president. Uh, there's a proposition. Clinton is president. Wish I could type. The earth is flat. They're propositions too. They're statements too. They're claims too, just as much as these others. They're just false. Right? So a statement or a claim is just that, a claim that something is the case or something is true. Saying that the world is a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that the claim, the proposition, the statement is true. A false statement is just as much a statement as a true one. To say the earth is round and to say the earth is flat, they're equally statements. One is not more of a statement than the other. It's just that one is true and one is false, and that is really key. Because claims, statements, propositions say that something is the case or something is true, they're kinds of things that are capable. Excuse me. That are capable of being true or false. Only if I try to characterize the world in some way, make some sort of claim about the way it is, can my use of language be characterized as true or false. Think about other ways that we use language. If I say this instead, then I've used language in an entirely different sort of way. Here, I have not made a claim. I have not made a statement because I have not tried to characterize the way the world is. I have not taken, in a certain sense, taken a stand on reality. I'm asking a question. Is Jane in the kitchen? Is Clinton president? The answer to that could be yes or no, but we wouldn't say that the question is a false question or a true question. It's just a question. The categories true and false, they don't apply to it because I've made no statement about the way the world is, so it's not capable of being true or false. There are all sorts of other ways in which we use language besides making statements, so that it couldn't be said that what we say or write or think is true or false. These are things that our parents said to us when we were kids. Eat your vegetables. Don't play with matches. Always be kind. It's all good advice, but these are not statements about the world. These are not claims about the world. These are commands or imperatives or orders. They're not trying to characterize the way the world is. They're trying to encourage us to act a certain way or do a certain type of thing. So one of the things that what I want to get across here is that these other uses of language really don't figure into arguments because they don't try to characterize the way the world is in any way. That what we will be concerned with in arguments is statements. Premises need to say something about the world, and so do conclusions.